Okay, so now that we are ready to put our hardware on, you need this bag. So I'm going to open this up. Get my clips, my twine, my needles. So you have a needle and a pin. I am probably not going to use the pin, but some people use it sometimes. I like to use my clips. So also like to say that we gave you some embroidery floss in here. You need about 18 inches. And if you don't prefer the color that was in your kit, you can obviously get some embroidery floss at the store that you prefer. So I'm going to get about 18 inches of this. You will also need a pair of scissors, and I'm just going to take my needle off this piece of paper, and just for the sake that I have these in my hand, I'm going to thread my embroidery floss. And then I keep a little bit of a double tail, but I do not attach the hardware with doubled thread. So I'm going to set this aside. Set my twine aside as well. So there will be more like rectangle looking hardware, and then there are also curved hardware. Basically, you need to kind of look at the piece that you've made and see where you need to clip, because these hardware open. So what's going to happen is you're going to have this, you're going to sew this metal piece onto your felt, but here is connected, so we need to snip down. So I always think that I can snip down a little bit extra later, but if you look here, it's about an inch, so I'm going to do about a 3/4 of an inch snip on both edges here. Maybe even a little bit smaller there. I can always make it bigger later. And so basically that's going to allow for the change purse to open. Now that we have these edges snipped, you need to kind of see how your piece is going to fit into your hardware. So that's what the clips are for. You kind of push the edge up into this. Here, actually, I'll show you. There's like a negative space in here, like a little valley on both sides. So I have my hardware open. I'm going to grab an edge and shove the wool up into that valley I just showed you. But because we felted and then only snipped and didn't remove any cloth from there, it might look like it's going to be kind of gathered. So I did one quarter here. I'll show you what I mean. Oh, and I lost one of my clips. So I have that clipped in place. I think actually I'll clip it from the top there. So this, I have some excess fabric here. Now I think, it's my big one, keep it in there. There we go. I think that I'm going to be able to distribute that ease so I can have more body to my bag here. If you don't like that, you can clip a little bit of excess right here, but I wouldn't clip more than like 1/8 of an inch, because you don't want to clip too much and then not have enough cloth. So I would do that incrementally, and I would say if you don't need to, don't do it. So I'm clipping here, and I'll show you the other side. See, there's a little gathered spot that I'm going to have to kind of deal with when I go to sew this. But I'm basically pushing the cloth up into that valley, and I'm going to switch that one out for a larger one as well. And when I put the clip on, I kind of then like pull it up to hold it in place. And now that I have two here, I'm going to see if I can deal with that spot that looks like it's got a little pucker. And then again, put that on there. I think I'm liking the clips going to the curved side, to the inside, just as a personal preference. Okay, there we go. Something else you might need for this next part is a screwdriver, a flathead, and it wants to have some body to it. You don't want like a really fine one. And then if you don't have that, maybe like a tapestry needle or something, because basically we're going to grab that twine, okay, and we're going to shove it from the outside underneath here. So pushing it underneath as I go. And that's going to help with some bulk to keep the stitching in place and the purse and not hardware. So I kind of get it started like that, and then I take my needle with my embroidery floss, and I usually have my hardware open completely, and I go, sorry, up from the inside here, and I'm going to leave about a little over an inch of a tail, okay? And then I'm going to go down, and I want to make sure that that twine is being pushed to the back of the hardware. So if you have to put your needle down to get that down, go ahead and do that. I push my needle through the hole here. And obviously you can't pull too tightly because it will pull your end out from your previous starting point. So now from the inside here, I need to go up the next hole. Okay, and I'm pulling, careful, it might get caught on the hardware there. Take that loop off. And again, I'm going to make sure that my felt and my twine are being held in place, and I'm going to hold them with my fingers as well. So now I'm going to go down, out the back, okay? I'm holding here where I've already sewn, and then I'm pulling my felt up towards the hardware because I want to make sure I'm catching all of those items. And now I flip it over. I have to go up the next hole here. Now I want these stitches to be tight, so I am going to try to pull gently to tighten them now that I have a few in. I'm going to continue to go in every hole, up and down, all the way to this side, and then I'll have to come back. Okay, I have stitched from one side all the way to the other side. Now I need to go back. So some things to keep in mind. Hopefully now your twine is all secured up underneath this stitching. If you get stuck on it, just kind of wiggle your needle a little bit, or you can go backwards and you know, restart entering that hole right there. So see here, I'm coming up from here. I'm going to go down this hole, out to the other side, and then it's starting to make that double stitch right there. So I'm going to do that around the perimeter. You can also clip this if it's in your way. It's your twine. We'll cut it at some point, so. And then you can put the other piece to the side because you'll be utilizing it on the other side of your purse. Now that you've sewn from one side to the other side, you should end in the center, or on the inside here. You have two ends. You're going to double knot that. Tight. So tie once. And twice. And then for now, we can just snip those like that, and we'll deal with it once we're finished with the other side. So to complete your change purse, you need to sew the opposite side. Don't forget to put your clips on, get your twine, and sew that in. Now that you're done sewing your embroidery floss here on both sides, you can go ahead and grab the toothpicks I said you would need, and then if you have purchased the glue, I typically just take the front of my kit, fold it in half here, and then I'll just place some glue on there, so that way, and actually it's popping up, so I'm just gonna split this in half here. There we go. So I'm just gonna put a bit of glue there. Just a little bit. And I also might pull some excess fibers that got pushed through off. But what you need to do is get some glue on your toothpick, and then from the inside, I put it right where I tied my knot, and then I push my threads up. There. Kind of hold it there. Then we grab some more glue. Hold that there in place for a little bit. Carefully remove your toothpick because we don't want to pull out those ends. Get a little bit more glue, and then I just add a little bit to my stitches from the inside to give a little bit of stability. And I kind of push up when I'm placing it there. all across the perimeter. Grab a little bit more glue. And I kind of roll my toothpick when I do that, because I don't want too much, and I want it to definitely be attached because I don't want it to drip. I have a second toothpick that I'm just going to use to kind of push that adhesive up in there. Then you'll go ahead and do the next side. Once you're done gluing, your piece should dry for about, I'd say at least an hour, but I probably wouldn't put anything in it for a day, and then you're ready to use it. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and let us know if you have any questions.